the Vlogbrothers. They give you this interesting tidbit about Jingle Bells not being a Christmas song, but actually being a Thanksgiving song. Well, that's all fine and dandy. But when you hear what I have to tell you today, you're going to be sitting there going, wait a minute, what's such a big deal about that? Wait till you hear what I tell you. Let's start with A Christmas Carol, and bear with me, I may be coughing a little bit. It's just the dry air and being winter and all, it kind of plays havoc on my sinuses, so just bear with me. Okay, let's go back to 1843 when Charles Dickens published A Christmas Carol. Now, since then, several movie companies have put up several different variations of A Christmas Carol. And you probably have said there going, who cares? And, of course, if you even read the story, or if you watch any of these movies, you see these Christmas carolers, they come around, and they're singing, and of course, Ebenezer Scrooge Scrooges them, basically. He just tells them all bah humbug. And you say, well, why do we care? You should care if they're starting to sing songs that haven't been published yet, okay? There were a lot of Christmas songs that didn't get published until after the Civil War. Now you should care. Let me tell you about the very first one. Well, maybe not the very first one, but one of the very first ones. It's called Angels We Have Heard on High. And it was originally sang in 129 AD by a bishop of Rome called Telesphorus. Okay? And it was written originally in Latin. But in 1862, it was translated by James Chadwick. And that's how we have the song today. Excuse me. Alright. But if you hear the carolers singing, "Do You Hear What I Hear?" then you got a problem, because that song wasn't even created until 1962 by Noel Regney, and the music of that song was created by Gloria Shane Baker. And it was created during the Cuban Missile Crisis. It was a cry for peace during the Cuban Missile Crisis. So if you hear the carolers singing, "Do You Hear What I Hear?" during the story of A Christmas Carol, you got a problem, because they wasn't around then. Alright. But let's go on here, because I think you'll find this to be even more fascinating. And I may have to stop this and post a part 2, so bear with me. We have We Three Kings. And it was written by a Reverend John Henry Hopkins in 1857. It was written for the General Theological Seminary, which was being held in New York, and this song was being created during a Christmas pageant. Okay? And now you know the lowdown on it. So, if you hear We Three Kings being sung by the carolers, unless the Dickens classic was set in the 1860s, you wouldn't have heard that song. Okay? Hark the Herald Angels Sing. This was created by the brother of John Wesley, who was a real big prominent minister, and this brother was named Charles Wesley. Okay? And it was created in 1840, and the melody of it was created by Felix Mendelssohn. And I hope I pronounced his name right, because it is a big name, so I think it was Mendelssohn, but you can quote me on that if you want. The point of it is that that song would have been heard around the time of the Christmas Carol. Okay. What Child Is This? Its original melody was called Green Sleeves, and over the years it had many different lyrics. It didn't start out with What Child Is This? It started out with some different lyrics, okay? Its first publication came around in 1850 by Richard Jones, but the lyrics that he added were not Christian lyrics. As a matter of fact, it was mentioned in the William Shakespeare play, The Merry Wives of Windsor, in a scene where a whole bunch of traitors are being hanged. The actual song was being played while traitors were being hanged. No, and as a matter of fact, the lyrics that we know today were created in 1865 by William Chatterton Dix, who was a British citizen, and he created a song called The Manger Throne, which later became What Child Is This? Alright? Now, at that time, it was a little dangerous to write Christmas carols because conservative Christian churches back then didn't allow decorating, gift giving, or even the celebration of the holiday of Christmas. Why do you say? Mainly because they thought it would turn eventually into a pagan festival, which, for the most part, that's exactly what has happened. So, I guess they were right. I don't know that we should stop celebrating Christmas because it turned into a pagan festival, but I'm saying to you that it's wrong that it turned into a pagan festival in the first place. So, Away in a Manger, the final lyrics that we know today was created in 1865. So if you hear the carolers in the Christmas Carol singing it, unless that story was set in 1865, that'd be a problem. Okay. O Little Town of Bethlehem was created by Philip Brooks in 1868. In 1865, he took a vacation to Europe and to the Middle East. He went right into Jerusalem, and he went through all of Judea, and one day during his vacation he ate an early dinner, and then he went up on this hill and he looked down to the town of Bethlehem, and to him it looked very small. And that's where he got the inspiration for creating this song. But it would take him between 1865 and 1868 to get the song actually published. So it wasn't even published till after the Civil War. So if A Christmas Carol in your little pageant is not set to the late 1860s, well, you got a little problem. The First Noel. It was originally written in Latin. It is one of the earliest Christmas carols. And the Latin word Noel actually means birth or birthday. Okay? It wasn't published officially until the 1800s, but many people started singing it well before then. As a matter of fact, it could be dated back almost 500 years before it was published. Alright, I will tell you more in my next video, so stay tuned.